Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ninja Machine League, Season 3, Week 3. Couple exciting games this week, but a lot of you are 1-1, I noticed, so this is going to be a make-or-break week for some of you as we start to determine which teams are the good ones and which teams are going to be fighting to just get into the playoffs. So let's not waste any time and get right into our first matchup. It's going to be between the Bradford Bulldogs and the Reading Express. Bradford coming into this game 0-2, but both of their opponents have put up over 110 points. Reading 1-1 with two decently impressive outings. And they will be on... Who's tagging me? Is it too late to switch out Abby Cuts for Katie Bone? Not at all. Oh, we're doing this again. We said that Reading has Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Lucas Reale going to get things started today with a clear. Well done. First fail today goes to Ben Barons, and Issa, normally reliable on stages 1 and 2, faltering there. So Reading gonna get some bonus points there at the end, and they're gonna take a 46-40 lead in what's looking like a high-scoring opener. Actually, that'll tie things up. Issa doing Issa things on stage 2, clearing again. Probably has the record for most stage 2 clears in this league. Now we're starting to job out to this really hard stage 2. And a clear there at the end by Junwen Yang is going to give Reading a huge lead. Uh-oh, but Yoga of Malka leaving the door open, failing floating boards. Fail of Pizza Party for Bradford. Caleb also fails floating boards, and Loic Fortier can ice it here. Just needs 3 obstacles, I think. And Reading is going to blow a huge lead on stage 3. And Bradford going to get their first win of the season. How about that? Almost everyone cleared. Next up, this was the game of the week until both teams started 0-2. It's the Austin Antelopes and Atlanta Aces. I have my window open, by the way, which is why you're hearing the road outside, and I'm not closing it. So, sorry. Ooh, Kara. Rough start. A timeout for Seth Lambert. Yoshi clears. Tom Berti clears. So Austin is trying to pull away here. Atlanta can't buy a clear. Timeout for Joe Meisner. Gavin Obi, though. Failing castle wall and timing out by a half of a second. The usually reliable Gavin Obi. And the door is blown wide open for Austin. Joe Meisner going to redeem himself with a lightning fast clear. Seth Lambert will also redeem himself. Kara will not. Yoshi 2 for 2 and the new fastest time. Gavin Markowitz with the clear. And Caden Lebsack with the new fastest time. May very well be a record. That was lightning fast. 150. My goodness. Fastest time by 11 seconds. And Austin, a giant lead. Uh-oh. Tom Berti leaving the door open. And Magiacomo does not take advantage, and this game is over. Oh, Caden. And Gavin Obi's run, irrelevant. He goes 0 for 2, though, which is pretty surprising. And your final score there, Austin 104, Atlanta 73. Atlanta 0 and 3. Quite surprising. Next up, Detroit and Reno. Detroit entering this game 1 and 2, though they did put up a century in their loss last week. Reno, 2 centuries, 2 wins. So some pretty decently strong teams here as they fight it out on Origins. And there we go. Ryohei Yamamoto, new entrant for Reno, starting things off with the clear. And the other Yamamoto not clearing. Reno, 2 clears. Luke Dillon going to prevent the perfect stage. No, Meaner also going to prevent the perfect stage. And Detroit needed that one badly. They will find themselves down 12. Luke Dillon going to miss out on the 2 for 2, failing chain 2. Schneider with a super fast clear. Matthias, same. Ryohei, same. This time limit on stage 2 is jobbing out today. Isabella Folsom also failing chain reaction, and Ashley Bergstrom gonna really hurt matters. So is Noah Brown, though. We will not have overtime, but Reno with a 13-point lead. Detroit needs to do something special, and they do not get something special. But Noah Brown leaving the door open for Matthias Norell. We know how clutch he is on stage 3, and that is not clutch at all. Noah Meaner's run is moot. And he clears just for good measure. $111 to $80. Reno running away with this one. Next up, we have the Wellington Wizards and Cologne Condors. Cologne entering this game 0 and 2, having yet to put up more than 75 points. Wellington, not a great start to their season. No centuries for them, but they did get a win in the opener against Austin. So they find themselves 1-1. And I know Captain Wizzy was really frustrated at their first 2 weeks' performance, so we'll see if they can knock off the rust here on Shamrock. Of course, they are very well familiar with from their championship in Season 1. And Nora, oh, that won't make the captain happy. Tamaki Sakai doesn't do a whole lot better. Enzo clears. Another gold mine fail for Cologne. Ben Polson going to just barely clear there. Josh Miller clear. And so a pretty solid start for Wellington. But Cologne staying in it. Score is 48-35 after one stage. And Cologne not helping matters there. Josh Miller going to 0 for 2, I think. Martins was traded back and forth this week. He doesn't do too well. That'll be a clear for Wellington, though. Jera! Oh, my goodness. And that was a disastrous run by Tamaki Sakai. Nora going to redeem herself with a clear, and that is more of the Wellington we've come to know and love over these last 2 seasons. Ben Polson choking again on Stage 3. I'm pretty sure that's his second 0 on Stage 3 this season. So this game is now moot. Asa going to get Wellington the century. And as the kid says, this is a BTA. Although Moraton's going to clear, make things respectable for Cologne. They'll finish off today with 66, I believe. And 108 for Wellington. They do much better than in their last 2 weeks. I'm sure Wizzy will be much happier to see that. Although some cracks in the armor. Jared didn't do super well. Nora only did okay, although that last Stage 2 run was quite good. But I think overall, Wizzy doesn't have much to complain about there, picking up win number 2. Jacksonville Jackals and Cologne Condors. I am going kind of fast here as I haven't eaten lunch yet. Just 2:15 here on the East Coast. Jacksonville getting a clutch 2-point win last week, although they have yet to break 70. And Chicago has yet to not break 97. They had that heartbreaking loss to Houston in Week 1, so far the game of the season, and a decisive win a week ago. As they duel it out, I believe, on Origins, yes. Katie Bone, the last-second sub in for Chicago. She gets a clear, so great decision. And Jacksonville starting off with 2 clears. Sam Folsom also clearing. Hayate Kajihara, though, failing Rolling Hill EX. That is a tough obstacle. RJ Roman just barely getting a clear. Mai Watanabe will not clear. Sean Bryan gets the clear, and Chicago is in a 51-32 lead. Although Sean Bryan failing a spider walk. Josh Levin doing worse. Yusuke with a super fast clear right up there with Cadence earlier. A fail of chain reaction are there. Katie Bone not going to do as good on Stage 2 as she did on Stage 1. And Stage 2 really showed its teeth there. Yuta Nakashima going to get it clear to make things respectable. But Jacksonville going to need something special here in Stage 3. That is not it. And Chicago with one of the best Stage 3 duos in the league. Sam Folsom going to put this one out of reach with the century. UG will get Jacksonville a 73. That is their best score of the season, but by far their best score of the season for Chicago as well, as they double clear Stage 3 and they win 122-73. Toronto and Panama. So far, not really close games, I must say. We'll see if some of these later ones get a little bit more competitive. Toronto 0-2, yet to break 80. Panama 2-0, although they had only 76 last week. They'll be on Shamrock. Zoe Harkness a clear. Olivia Vivian not so much. Rio going to get Panama back into this game. And James McGrath going to put them in the lead, actually, with the double-double. Double number, 1122. That's what that comment was about. Yato Takasuka also clearing by narrow margins. And narrowly, James McGrath taking the top time. Panama with a 21-point lead, and the Panama Caneleros potentially about to go 3-0. Oh, James McGrath. Technically another double-double number, but not clearing. Oh, no. Thuckley also timing out, and that was not going to be a clear anyway. This won't be a clear. Yep, timeout. Caden Forsha failing hourglass drop, and we had no clears of stage 2. Toronto really needed one. They didn't get one. And Caden Forsha leaving the door open for Toronto. Kyle Soderman running out of gas on Devil Roof. Rio Matachi needs to get something big here to put the pressure on Toronto. Clear would ice it. Does not get it. Hollis Lansford has to clear. Clear and you win. Fail and you lose. That is a fail. And the Panama Caneleros moved to 3-0. Although I will note, their opponents have yet to break 70 points. Low scoring one there, 71-54. Vancouver Voyagers and Minneapolis Mystics at the midway point this week. Minneapolis 1-1, though they have broken 90 in each of their 2 games. Vancouver started things off with a 63 and a loss, and then 115 last week. Very streaky team. And once again, we're back to Shamrock. Max Feinberg starts things off with a clear. Vancouver 2 for 2 now. Kai Beckstrand, though, gets the clear, keeping Minneapolis in it. 3 for 3 for Vancouver. But Millie Baker keeps the pressure up. Donovan Matoyer, oh no. And suddenly, after that great start, James Sanella is going to put Minneapolis in the lead by 10 points. They had the faster times for sure. Jordan Carr, though, a fail. Can this be a clear? Yes. Tyler Smith, despite the counter movement fail, lightning fast clear. Kevin Rodriguez gets one back for Vancouver. Nice save from Millie Baker on counter movement. Not sure how that's possible, but okay. Rory Jago 2 for 2. But getting the slowest time both times. And we are tied heading into the 3rd stage. This is our best game of the night so far. And that is going to be a clear for Tyler Smith. Putting the pressure on Max Feinberg, who does not deliver. Oh, but James Sanella leaves the door open for Kevin Rodriguez. I think he has to clear. Oh my goodness, no. Spinal Tap showing its teeth today. Tyler Smith, the clear, gets the win for Minneapolis, 94-76. And Vancouver, an up and down season so far, Minneapolis has scored in the 90s all 3 games, interestingly. They moved to 2-1. San Antonio Stallions, Indianapolis Inferno. Back in Season 1, this was the game of the season. Wait, San Antonio... San Antonio, Indianapolis. Okay. That's better. This time they'll battle it out on Origins. I said they'll battle it out on Origins. Oh, Jackson to 8. It's the Australian version of butterfly wall, by the way. So we got the A&W wall without the back wall. Not quite a blick wall. Hikari Izumi, though, clearing. And Indianapolis going up 3 for 3. Adelina Messier will not make it 4 for 4. However, Indianapolis with 44, they have quite a lead on San Antonio. So they're not reliving their magic of Season 1. Domorovsky, though, clearing. Trying to get San Antonio back in it. Let's see if Abby Clark can do the same. She does! Jean Tezanos, though, keeping up the pressure. Hikari Izumi goes 2 for 2. Yeah, we gotta buff that time limit. I think we're gonna go 210. Maybe, I don't know. Because I want people to be able to have a miss on chain reaction and still clear. Yuri Prokudin leaving the door open for San Antonio. San Antonio not capitalizing. Jean Tezanos Dumont Cell, can he take after his countryman and be clutch? No, he can't. Wow, track fill. Doesn't happen very often. So, for the second time in these teams' histories, Joe Moravsky, with the ball in his court, clear and you win, fail and you lose. And that is a fail. Indianapolis winning this one 90-78. Colchester and San Francisco. Joel Matley, cover athlete after a perfect score a week ago. However, he was not able to lead Colchester to a victory, getting a clear here. San Francisco, on the other hand, has scored over 120 points in each of their first 2 matches, keeping up that pace here with the clear. 3 for 3 so far for these teams. Great start by both teams, and David Campbell chokes it on Dutch courage of all things. Roller Ghoster, though, fail for Katarzyna. Nejirita corkscrew. Vance Walker. Getting the clear, Luke Beckstrand the fastest time, just barely. It will not be a perfect score for Joel Matley this week. San Francisco. Ooh, door open, though. Oh my goodness. 0 for 2 for Colchester on the first obstacle. Not much better for Ayano Oshima. And nobody has even gotten to the last 2 obstacles yet. Wow, okay, that was unexpected. Terrible performance by both teams on Stage 2. We'll see if Stage 3 is any better. Vance Walker can ice it with a clear. He does not. Colchester, though, going to need 2 clears and help. Okay, well, there's a start. David Campbell can win this one with a clear. Oh my goodness. He's only gone and done it! The biggest upset in NML history, Colchester, with their one annual win, beating San Francisco. Holy cow. I cannot believe it. So on the week that Colchester gets a cover athlete, they get the win over a 2-0 San Francisco team. Unbelievable. Well, we got to keep things moving. Houston Hurricanes and Vermont Victors. They're going to be on Origins. Vermont, just like Vancouver, a streaky team, 56 in a loss, 113 in a win. Houston is 2-0 with 2 centuries. Not a great start. Not a great start either. Kim Merschner proving his loyalty to the Victors. Matt Bradley, MVP of Season 1, clearing. Jun Sato clearing as well. Clement clearing with the triple number. Akshara clearing as well. And after those first 2, things were looking good until that Black Widow fail. And Vermont in a 10-point lead. Not keeping up the Houston, what are you doing? Okay, getting a little bit of help there. Kim Merschner, the 2 for 2. Riley, uncharacteristically poor performance. Akshara not clearing. Phil Folsom will clear with the fastest time. 12-point lead for Vermont. Elijah Browning has struggled on Stage 3 in the past. Not here, though. He gets 12 points. Houston with the clear. Uh-oh. 2-point game. And you left the door open for Matt Bradley. 5 obstacles for the tie, 6 for the win. And that's going to do it. A double clear for Houston. They get a comeback victory. 110-98. And 3 games, 3 centuries for Houston. Melbourne Mighties and Hawaii Honu. Hawaii, you want to talk streaky. 113 week 1, 42 last week in an 83-point loss to San Francisco. Looking for redemption against Melbourne, who has failed to put up less than 118 this season. However, they ran into a buzzsaw week 1. They're going to be on Shamrock. Good start for Hawaii. Miachoka. Ooh, timeout. Benny didn't get the speed stat, I guess. He's been struggling with the time limit this season. Jalise is just going to outright fail Last Dragon. Oh, we're already on to the second stage. Wow. Hawaii with a 36-25 lead after one stage. Though Melbourne looking good here. That's going to be a timeout after 2 counter movement fails. Ilion failing Buorando. First beam of Buorando, no less. J. Lewis clearing. Uh-oh. Benny. Benny might be benchy. And only 2 clears for Melbourne. They lead 59 to 45. Hawaii looking like they're going to be more of a week 2 team than a week 1 team. Nia Cleara. And a fail there. I think that should just about do it. Ladies and gentlemen, Melbourne has won on Shamrock with a double stage 3 clear. Melbourne wins Shamrock. Colchester wins. I mean, what is happening this week? Maryland and New Haven will be up next. It's going to be our last Origins match of the week. New Haven 2-0, and they're starting week 3 off very well. Maryland 1-2. Last week put up a century. Wow, Kasim El-Kefi. Slipping off of Rolling Hill EX. New Haven in the lead after 1 stage. And Kasim El-Kefi, a poor week for him. But, I mean, this second stage, really hard second stages in this map pack. I'm going to close my door here. This is getting a little ridiculous. That bee flew in here earlier. Quite a jump scare. Thankfully, he flew right back out. Hans Hertz, the sub 2, and New Haven in a 22-point lead. New Haven, who was thankful to get 3 wins in their first 2 seasons, unless Isaiah Thomas clears here, is going to go to 3-0. How about that? And a clear to ice it, 112 for New Haven. And that takes us to our main event, the only 2-0 versus 2-0 match this week, actually. It is the Seoul Dragons and the Milan Marauders. Milan with 124 and 115 in their 2 weeks. Seoul 88 and 98. So Seoul's kind of limped to 2-0. Milan emphatically 2-0. They'll be on Shamrock. Tatsuya Tada, weak start. Strong start for Nathaniel Hanvu, who's had himself quite a season. And Seoul starting 2-0 here. Milan, though, getting one back. And a pole vault fail. I don't think we've had a pole vault fail yet. A stunner for Anton Fomenko, and Seoul in a 20-point lead. A lot of weapons this week, but we have seen 2 huge comebacks. Yeah, I'm afraid the Jackals lost Peaglin. Anton going to put up 3 points this week. Zach Keenan failed pole vault last week. Okay. I was like half paying attention last weeek. And Seoul's going to run away with this one. Unless something crazy happens in stage 3, and it's not gonna. Jackson has to clear and Seoul has to fail the first obstacle. Okay, well, technically not over. There we go. Spinal Tap has been a killer this season, but not for Renee Castley. Seoul going to win this one 97-76. Seoul 3-0 without a century. Who does Seoul play next week? Detroit. Oh, Detroit's 1-2. Never mind. That's a winnable game for Seoul. They could be 4-0. And they face Hawaii. Wellington, you never know. I mean, they could very well be going into that Wellington game 5-0, and nobody'd be surprised. Speaking of Wellington, they have San Francisco next week. That'll be a good game. Houston and Reno going to be our main event next week. 3-0 versus 3-0. And two teams with 3 centuries. In fact, the only 2 teams with 3 centuries. We'll see how that shakes out the standings in a little bit. But for now, thank you for joining us for Week 3 of the Ninja Machine League. Quite a speedy one this week, I must say.